Now, as we all know, sadly, Mario and Luigi Brothership does not have a post-game. But I do think like games like Prince of Persia or Metroid Dread, there will actually be a content update to the game that adds an actual post-game. Here's my idea for it. The post-game would begin after you load up a save file after the final boss fight with Reclusa. Sorry for spoilers by the way. After you load the save file, a little cutscene of Mario and Luigi interacting with the Sprout that we see in the credits would transport them back to the restored Concordia. And then yada yada yada, reunion dialogue or some shit, I don't fucking know, man, I'm not Nintendo. And now, the bros can freely traverse through all the islands. No, it would not be something like Bowser's Fury, Patrick. You'd actually have to go to a little dock at the bottom of each island in order to enter a little recreation of Ship-Shape Island built by some of the Watanists. You can use this new ship to traverse through the connected islands easily and go and explore some more optional islands, the isolates. And they're going to be pretty important with this one. In this update, there would of course be many more isolates for you to explore. And there's one particular one which we're about to talk about. Introducing Boss Bash Island, yeah! This island would look similar to the Paper Macho Boss Rush Island from Paper Mario Origami King. There would be a ring in which the bros would enter. A heavenly voice would come down and ask if they are ready to take on this challenge. And then if they say yes, a purple fog would cover the arena, causing them to be transported to the boss locations, with the first boss being Grumbler X. P.S. All the X versions of the bosses would be harder than the Golem version of the bosses. So, yeah. After defeating a boss, you would get a couple healing items and your health would be restored partially. The next boss would be Goblet X, then Mega Snapdoor X, then Sharp Task X, then Pipe Gunk X, then Bowser X, no, not the one from Inside Story, then Golem Bowser X, then Extension Core, get it? Get it? Yeah, Extension Core X, yeah. Then Zocket X, and then finally, for the secret boss, I'm not sure actually. I had some ideas, like maybe bring back Bowser Jr., Dry Bowser. Maybe you could have like a fragment of Recluse, which would be a computer system. But then I had a little brain blast. Here's the old guys. A 2 versus 7 Koopa Ring team up boss fight. I know Hyper Gem was a bad game, but come on, guys. Oh yeah, also forgot to mention, if you go into the Soli tree, now called the Unit tree, you can interact with a little TV screen which will let you replay the entirety of the Valley sequence and the boss fight with Reclusa. Cool little thing that they could add in. Yep. And that was my idea for a post-game DLC for Mario and Luigi Brothership. Now on to the meat of this video. My ideas for the 2 next MNL games. Now these concepts for these next 2 games are actually based off some fan art pieces of box art for hypothetical 3 new Mario and Luigi games. I'll only be using 2. And also I couldn't find the artists, so if y'all recognize the art and know who made it, please tell me. Please. Okay, for the first game, Mario and Luigi Royal Relish. The game would start out with the bros deciding to have a little party inviting the princesses and some other close friends. But then, a rip in the sky opens, causing everyone to be sucked into space. The bros, Peach and Daisy, wake up on the Comet Observatory, finding Rosalina. Rosalina sees them hurt and decides to take them to Chef Cosmeo. Chef Cosmeo would give the bros some normal treats, but he ends up giving the princesses the Extreme Cookie, which give Peach and Daisy the extreme stats, and decide to test their power in a new training room. But soon some of the stars seem to start to be drained of their power. The bros figure something's wrong and decide to check it out. The princesses and Rosalina decide to tag along. Rosalina also decides to take an extreme cookie, gaining an extreme stat too, and thus Rosalina, piloting the Comet Observatory, head off with the bros and the princesses to explore multiple galaxies and stop them from being drained by the former prince of the Valley Kingdom. And now for the characters. First up, Mario and Luigi, the famous twin plumbers who are known for saving the Mushroom Kingdom and sometimes the world. They set off with the princesses on their journey to stop Xeon, the former prince of the Valley Kingdom, from absorbing every galaxy's energy. the princesses, Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina. Peach, the humble princess of the Mushroom Kingdom, Daisy, the rambunctious princess of Sarasa Land, and Rosalina, the caretaker of the Lumas, set off with Mario and Luigi on their quest to save numerous galaxies from Xeon. Chef Cosmio, a kind Luma who is excellent in the art of cooking multiple recipes from multiple galaxies. He helps out the princesses by giving them his most powerful effects, the extreme stats. He also owns a little shop on the Comet Observatory that sells items which give the bros and the princesses special effects. Gorbizo, the loyal assistant of Xeon, a goopy creature with plates of armor keeping its form together. It hunts down the bros and the princesses mercilessly. Xeon, the former prince of the Valley Kingdom. Now driven to madness in order to bring back his fallen kingdom, he absorbs the energy of multiple galaxies in order to restore his kingdom and bring back the Valley King. Now, the gameplay. For the bros attacks, they're mostly the same, being mostly item-based, although some of them actually involve the princesses. For the overworld, the bros and princesses must use the observatory in order to locate multiple galaxies. When one is found, you can enter it and explore it. The overworld movement would be similar to the OG Mario Galaxy, but instead with actual passive NPCs. You can also only have 2 princesses at a time, with the other becoming a little orb of light. You can also choose to separate the bros from the princesses in order to control them separately, to do puzzle stuff. In order to progress the story and restore a galaxy's energy, you would have to find a Spire device and destroy it, with there being a boss to defeat before destroying it. The princesses and the extreme stat. The princesses get an extreme stat given by Chef Cosmio. Peach gets the extreme stat of defense, allowing her to have extra HP and use magic to protect the bros. Daisy gains the extreme stat of power, allowing her to, of course, use very powerful attacks. And Rosalina gains the extreme stat of speed, allowing her to use her magic attacks rapidly and increase the speed of the bros attacks. Along with the extreme stat attacks, the princesses have 2 primary attacks: the club, or kick for Daisy, the star blast for Rosalina, and the flutter jump, which would act similar to the bros jump and hammer attacks. Also, the princesses have special attacks, which use royal points, aka RP, and they also have ultimate attacks. For Peach, it would use a barrier that would negate all damage for all teammates for 1 turn. For Daisy, 3-hit strike, which for each strike would cause either 2,000 damage or 3,000 damage. And for Rosalina, it would basically just be her Grand Star Final Smash from Smash Ultimate. Using these ultimate attacks would basically just wipe away all of the RP. Also, when enough Spire devices are destroyed, the Mario Bros will gain the ability of the Dark Hands. Mario will use Dark Flame, and Luigi, Dark Thunder. And some new Bros attacks come in with this, although they don't really have Mario and Luigi work together. It's just Mario solo and Luigi solo. For Mario, he pulses his hands into the ground, causing some flame pillars to appear at a certain rhythm. You'll have to press the A button on that same rhythm for it to deal some extra damage. And for Luigi, it's kind of an FPS, where Luigi shoots some Dark Thunder into the sky, and you'll have to aim for little static electricity points up in there to deal some extra damage. And, near the end game, there is one more Bros attack you can gain: the Black Hole attack. Mario and Luigi merge their Dark Hand abilities to create a giant black hole. Mario and Luigi get sucked up and start orbiting the black hole, and you have to do something very similar to the Z-Egg attack, where you need to use your hammers to size it down. When it's sized down enough, Mario and Luigi will both use their hammers to strike it down onto the battlefield, causing basically the same thing that happens with Conductor Connect, so yeah. And then the final area of the game. Final area would be the ruins of the Valley Kingdom, with a few Valley Tree enemies. There are only 3 bosses. One last encounter with Gorbizo, where he would stretch his limbs into different things like blasters, maces, etc. A fight with Xeon, where he would use a dagger that uses dark energy to turn into a sword. And finally, the Valley King. The Valley King, with his pure dark energy form, would try to confuse the bros, disappearing and reappearing rapidly, summoning valley trees, and even stealing one of the princesses for a bit. In order to defeat him, you can jump onto his arm, or just jump on him, in order to damage him with a hammer attack. At the end, the bros and the princesses unleash their full power, destroying the Valley King. Next game, Mario and Luigi. Wario and Luigi, Twisted Trio. For the story, Waluigi is tired of being just a simple pawn in Wario's schemes, so he searches for the fabled Nova Star. Once he finds it, he decides to use this star to make all kneel before Waluigi by overthrowing the kings and queens of various kingdoms, like the Koopa Kingdom, Flower Kingdom, Bean Kingdom, Mushroom Kingdom, Sarasa Land, etc., replacing them with corrupt replicas and causing all of the kingdom's residents to worship Waluigi. Wario must team up with the bros in order to stop Waluigi's dastardly scheme, while also trying to avoid an annoying young girl who's also interested in Waluigi's plan of conquering all kingdoms. Now for the characters. First off, Mario and Luigi, famous twin plumbers who have saved the day many times, who must join forces with Wario in order to stop Waluigi's converting of all the kingdoms. Wario, a greedy, garlic-obsessed rival of Mario, who joins forces with the bros to stop his close friend Waluigi. Waluigi, tired of being treated as just a simple minion to Wario and barely getting any respect, he finds the Nova Star, allowing him to convert everybody into his minions. He goes to kingdom after kingdom, overthrowing their king and queen and corrupting the kingdom by creating a replica of that king/queen. Peach, a young girl who was inspired by Waluigi's desire to conquer the kingdoms and decided to help with his plan. She wields a big-ass axe as a weapon. For the gameplay, the bros attacks are simply the same, with just new bros attacks. But Wario has 3 abilities, one of them being Overworld exclusive: his ground pound, his punches, and his dash bash, with the ground pound and punch being stronger versions of Mario and Luigi's hammer and jump ability. With Wario's dash bash, he can break giant blocks in the overworld. Wario can also use garlic attacks, which can give him different status effects and transform him into different forms, in which he can use a special attack corresponding to that form. Null spaces, short dungeons that the bros and Wario must complete in order to reach the trapped king/queen and defeat the replica. These would be a mixed up and corrupted version of the respective kingdom. There would be boss fights with each king/queen replica. And now for the final area. The final area would be Waluigi's Palace, which would be a gauntlet of Waluigified enemies, kind of like Fawful's Kingdom. And there would be 3 bosses. A final Peach encounter, where she's empowered by the Nova Star and gets a giant axe. A Waluigi fight, where he uses clones made by the Nova Star in order to attack the bros and Wario, where he usually incorporates dances into his attacks. And one final fight against Nova. Nova being the result of the Nova Star breaking and the essence of it going into Waluigi, causing him to become Nova. Nova's fight would be similar to Dreamy Bowser's fight, except way more faster and agile. And that kind of brings us to the end of this little video of mine. Thank you for watching. Also, there would probably be like a Superstar collection with the 5 OG games, so yeah, there's that. Anyway, thank you for coming. Good night, my little kittens.